If you can get these 3 steps right, you'll be set up to absolutely crush LinkedIn ads this year and turn them into one of your most profitable channels. This is the exact framework I built over 15 months. It's tested with 75k of my own money, and it's refined over and over until it became one of the most reliable ways I know to run LinkedIn ads. I call it my 3-step LinkedIn ads framework, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step so you can copy it for your own campaigns. Step 1 is called Get Started, and the first thing you need to nail is targeting. I recommend starting with an audience size between 20 to maybe 50,000 people, especially if you're spending below 10k per month, and make sure you remove audience expansion. I use 3 filters: company size, company industry, and job titles. Most people aren't ready to buy your solutions yet, so we want to make sure we're not narrowing down too much. Next, we have the objective. So I recommend starting with website visits. It's the easiest objective to combine results across campaigns later on, and we are going to do just that later in this video when we get into measurements. Thereafter, choose your format. I always suggest starting simple with a single image ad. So keep it simple with your main narrative, and if possible, make your audience feel like they are in a situation they recognize deeply. The goal here isn't perfection, it's getting something in the market so you can start learning. And finally, decide on bidding. For almost everyone, I recommend doing manual bidding and setting your bid at 2/3 of LinkedIn's recommended bid. You will almost always see the same results, but at a much lower cost. Step 2 is called Get Good. This is where we build your campaign structure. So I always think about this in 3 layers. First, we have what we call the cold layer. So these are people who have never seen you before. It's completely new prospects. And the goal here is to earn attention from your ICP before you ask for anything. So there's no selling here. I would run 3 types of ads here. First, we have text ads. And if you haven't heard about these before, they are small, simple ads on the right side of LinkedIn where you can add a logo and a text. They are incredibly cheap, they are always on, and they keep your logo and key message in front of the right people continuously every day. Second, we have what we call thought leader ads. They are a fairly new ad format on LinkedIn, but it's basically a way to take organic posts that are already engaging our audience well and then promoting them from our company account. And I would argue that these are the most underutilized format that exists. It will just look like an organic post with a small promoted tag beneath it. So you could use it on your executives, your founders, or maybe even yourself. And this is where you share value like industry tips, insights, and opinions to put you on the thought leader shelf. So there's no pitching at this stage. This is very important. And finally, we have image ads. It's big, bold images people instantly can associate with you and your brand and your narrative. And ideally, you'll add a bit of humor or personality if you can. And once we have this attention, once we have moved our buyers into some sort of attention span, we move to what we call the retargeting layer. So these are people who have already interacted with us. They might have visited the website, the company page on LinkedIn, or engaged with an ad in the cold layer. And here we turn much more into the product. So we try to connect the dots between our story and our product. First, we have text ads. Same thing as I've told you before. We're running the same message and narrative here, so people will feel consistency and kind of remember us. Second, once again, we have thought leader ads here in retargeting as well, but with very different content. Now we try to tie the value that we talked about before to what our product actually does. Show the product, show workflows, show customer stories, and similar things like that. We can also utilize customers here that are writing about us on LinkedIn, and then we can promote them and their post as a thought leader ad as well. And finally, again, we have image ads, similar style as before, but now we're linking them to a very clear USP or a product benefit. So it's time to show off the product we've already created attention for. And finally, we have what we call the high intent retargeting layer. This is a very small group. These are people who have already engaged with our retargeting ads, and they're somewhat interested in our products and need a small nudge to take action. And here I would run what we call conversation ads. They are ads that pop up straight in a person's inbox, and it looks like it's coming from you personally. It's a great way to say something like, hey, I noticed you've been checking out our company. Can I show you how it works? And if you click such an ad, it looks just like a regular LinkedIn DM. So very personal. Step 3 is called Get Smart. And this is where we focus on measurement. So at this point, we have our campaigns running, we have our call layer and our retargeting layer and a high intent retargeting layer. And now we need to figure out what is actually working here. So the first thing I look at is engagement. And most of the time, the main statistic we use here is click-through rate, or CTR as we call it. It's an early sign that we are reaching the right audience and that our creative is landing well with the audience. But there's one important thing to remember. You can only compare CTRs between campaigns that use the same objective. So if we're running a website visit campaign like we set up in step 1, a click means someone actually went to our website. But if we're instead running something like an engagement campaign like we do with thought leader ads, a click could be anything from clicking see more to reacting to the post or clicking through to the website. So as you might understand, it's very different. Important to note also is that the average CTR on LinkedIn for ads is about 0.4%. So if you're above that and ideally closer to 1%, you can say that you are engaging very well with your audience compared to the average. But engagement alone, of course, does not tell you what is driving revenue or pipeline into the CRM. That is where the attribution gap comes in. The old path of see ad, click ad, book a demo, become a customer, that's gone. Buyers these days engage over weeks or months across multiple channels before they ever land on your website. And if you're going to continuously rely on these first click or last click attribution models inside your CRM, you will think your LinkedIn ads are not working. And that leads to obviously cutting campaigns that might be driving business in the first place. And this is why I built Fibbler. It connects your LinkedIn ads data to your CRM and it shows you what we call influenced attribution. And that means it can tell you which companies viewed or engaged with your campaigns in the weeks or months before a deal was created and match that to real pipeline and real revenue in the CRM. And when you have that view, you can confidently scale campaigns that are truly moving the needle and tell your executive team that, okay, yeah, LinkedIn ads is working great for brand awareness, but it's actually impacting bottom line as well. So my hope for you is that you take all of this and use it to get started with LinkedIn ads. But I have to mention that one of the most important parts of running LinkedIn ads is getting the data correctly matched with your CRM data and having things properly attributed. So click here to check out the next one, where I show you how to set all of that up and do all of the technical behind the scenes stuff so you don't have to figure it out. This isn't something you want to skip if you're really serious about starting LinkedIn ads. So I will see you over there.